Welcome to another episode of The Hub on Vital MX, your one-stop shop for motocross news from around the world. And this week we have a couple of injuries to get to. Levi Kitchen is out for the foreseeable after that vicious crash at the Daytona Supercross. He sustained a broken collarbone and fractures to his upper back, as he revealed in his Instagram video on Sunday morning. No timeline on his recovery just yet, but you would think that potentially he would be back for outdoors and fighting fit. I would think that's a safe, reasonable target. In contrast, Cameron McAdoo, who tore his ACL prior to the opening round of 250 Supercross East, is finally withdrawing and going to go beneath the knife. In fact, this video will release on Thursday, and it is on that day that he is having surgery. McAdoo was trying to push through and did so remarkably well at the first round, as he finished in third place, but since then he's had a couple of crashes, and ultimately, as he said in a team statement, it was unsafe for both himself and the riders around him for him to continue racing.
It was tough, but it was just time. So this week I have surgery scheduled for Thursday. Looking forward to going in and getting fixed up, and I'll keep you guys all updated with my recovery process and keep you in the loop, and just looking forward to getting healthy and being back out there. So
a torn ACL will of course take some time for him to recover from, but perhaps he can return for the SMX playoffs, although it's likely if he does that, then he will be racing in the last chance qualifier. Triumph Factory Racing will enter the first 250 Supercross East-West showdown this weekend with just one of their four riders. Austin Faulkner is the last man standing, as Jordan Smith needs more time to recover from the 4 broken ribs, slight spleen laceration and punctured lung that he sustained in Arlington whilst he was leading the first 250 Supercross race. I would think that Jordan would return before the end of the Supercross season, although again, no specific timeline has been given at this point. Looking back on Daytona, 2 250 Supercross riders received penalties. Carson Mumford was docked 4 positions in the main event for gaining an advantage off track. He was behind Max Anstey when Anstey crashed in the second turn. Mumford went off track to avoid running him over and then ran alongside that first rhythm section. He raised his hand and slowed, so quite clearly acknowledged the fact that he was doing something incorrect, but clearly the powers that be deemed that was not quite enough. Mumford wasn't happy when we spoke to him post-race about the situation, and Maximus Voland, who had a terrific 5th place at Daytona, was penalised 3 championship points for failing post-race sound. So he keeps his 5th position, unlike Mumford, who was docked 4 and removed from 7th, placed in 11th. Maximus Voland keeps 5th, but loses a couple of championship points in the process. The 2025 FIM Motocross World Championship kicked off in Argentina at a new venue, Cordoba, this past weekend. Alberto Ferrato had a horrific time of it. He was sick, which restricted his results for the most part. And then in the second moto, the final moto of the weekend, he sustained a possible knee injury. Scans and checks on site revealed that there were no major issues, but once he returns to Europe, which he has now, he is getting further checks just to make sure, as he seems to be quite concerned that there is in fact an issue in the knee. Ferrato had a horrible time of it with injuries last year as well, so hopefully he does get the all clear, because missing more time would be catastrophic for his career. The only other note from MXGP, of course, if you want more MXGP content, you can head to our MXGP podcast show, which is also on this YouTube channel. Ducati were incredibly impressive in their full-time debut with the Desmo 450. Mattia Guadagnini and Jeremy Sewer whole shot both motos, one apiece, and then now Ducati have their riders in 4th and 7th in the championship standings. No other manufacturer can claim that they have 2 bikes in the top 7. What a statement, and what a debut for the team. And how about this? The 2 whole shots came with stock engines. Yep, they're still running stock engines in both race bikes. the story just gets more remarkable. No MXGP this weekend, which means that all focus returns to Monster Energy AMA Supercross Round 9 will be held in Indianapolis's Lucas Oil Stadium. It will be the first 250 SX East-West showdown of the season, so that will be incredibly exciting. Let us know who you think will win in the comments below. And it is almost do or die time for Chase Sexton in 450s, as he cannot lose more points to Cooper Webb. He certainly cannot end up with more riders between he and Webb in the race order. So those are the stories to watch this weekend. In Europe, there will be the National Italian Championship, which will have some MXGP riders, so that will be interesting. But that's probably the most poignant note from that continent. We'll be back next week to discuss all that's happened in the world of motocross. Of course, thank you for watching and listening. A short edition this week, but we'll be back with more in the not too distant future.